Hey YouTube, what's up y'all? This is What's Wrong with an Appeal to Fear. Some channels on YouTube, it seems that they can do nothing except use appeal to fears. It's their only tool in their arsenal. And other people on YouTube in our community just can't stand it, and as soon as they see an appeal to fears being used, they instantly ignore an entire argument, or they'll even make the claim that an argument is an appeal to fear in an attempt to invalidate it. But what's wrong with an appeal to fear? That's what we'll discuss here. Here's an outline. We'll use examples, we'll define it, we'll analyze it, and we'll conclude. So, here's the first example. There's a spoiled kid, he wants some candy. You're at a grocery store. Parents say no, he starts crying and making a scene, really irritating everyone in the whole store. And but the parent threatens punishment at the house unless the kid's behavior improves. As a result, the kid's behavior improves, and I would argue everyone, even the kid himself, is better off. You know, where I come from, it's considered good parenting to do this. If you don't make the threat and you don't do anything, then the kid just keeps going on crying and you can't control your kid. You're not a good parent. Now, if you just give the kid what he wants, you're also a bad kid. The kid grows up spoiled. So, on the other hand, you should punish the kid. But you shouldn't just punish him without giving him fair warning. So, an appeal to fear is actually good parenting, where I come from. Here's another example, and by the way, the kid is better off because he was able to avoid punishment. Assuming that the appeal to fear was based on a true statement, that is, the dad says, if your behavior doesn't improve, I'm going to punish you, that's true, then it's good for the kid, because if the appeal to fear had not been made, he would have gotten punished and had no way to avoid it. So he'd have been worse off in the long run. He'd have been upset about the candy bar and upset about getting beat. However, spanked or whatever, you know what I mean. Now, he had the ability to avoid getting spanked, so he's still upset about the candy bar, but overall, he's worse off than he would have been. So he's actually better off. Now, crawfish sale. This is true. I made a crawfish sale the other day. I made a pitch at work, and I told the lady she better act fast before supplies run out. Now, this is true, because we don't usually stock crawfish. It's a seasonal item. Since it's a seasonal item we don't regularly stock, she didn't even know we sold crawfish. So she was glad that I made this appeal to fear. When I said, you better act before supplies run out, that's an appeal to fear. But she was glad I did that because she didn't know we even sold it. She loves crawfish. She went and bought some, walked out with a smile on her face, and thanked me. Now that usually doesn't happen. Usually people get pissed off from trying to sell them stuff, but that actually happened. So that was a strict benefit to the common good. Other examples, economics will have bargaining. A customer may say, I'm not going to buy your item unless you reduce the price. Well, maybe if you're a merchant, that comes across as an appeal to fear because this is your livelihood at stake. You have to make the sale or you can't pay rent. So that could be considered an appeal to fear. Politics and diplomacy. There may be a group of countries, say the Eurozone. They may say to another country, if you don't get your act together and do whatever we want, we're going to give you economic sanctions, we're going to invade you, whatever. They may appeal to fear. Police and judges use appeal to fear, a warning. If a policeman writes you a warning, he's telling you if you don't fix your behavior that he's going to write you a real ticket. Teachers and school principals will say, I'm going to call your parents or give you detention. All of these can be abused, but when properly executed, result in gains to the common good. It's good that we have a functioning legal system. It's good that we don't have lots of bullies at school, that we maintain a learning environment. It's good that economics bargaining can occur, which allows for efficient price allocations. This is all good. Here's a bunch of definitions. You can read them. If I read them, it'll double the time of this video. So just keep this all in mind. And so let's analyze it. As shown by my crawfish example, an appeal to fear can be used without entailing that an untrue statement is being used, without entailing that an argument is false, without entailing that it's unjustified, without entailing that anyone is worse off or has any bad intentions. Okay? So all the claims that appeals to fear are unjustified or result in offending people all the time, or they're untrue all the time, these are all false. Now they all can be true, but none of them are necessarily true. So in other words, none of them come from the fact that an appeal to fear is being used. They come from what else is going on, which makes sense because an appeal to fear should be a form of presentation. Now, as shown in the definitions from NISCOR, the technical definition, if we use an appeal to fear as a form of logical argumentation, it's a fallacy, because the fact that you're scared doesn't imply that the statement is true. However, that doesn't mean that it's unjustified that it's used. Maybe the fact that you're scared is intended alongside a true statement in order to get you to care or act. You know, something can be true, but that doesn't mean that you care. So here's where an appeal to fear is very effective and useful, is getting people to care and act based on truth, rather than just go, oh, you know, that may be true, but I don't really care. So an appeal to fear is a very bad argument, but it's very good going with an argument as a form of presentation. That's the point. What's wrong with an appeal to fear then? Nothing in and of itself when properly used. Rather, its common usage and its abuses are the problem. And one of those common usage and abuses is using it as a logical argument. It's not a logical argument. It's a form of presentation which can improve the potency and effectiveness of a logical argument in getting people to act based on that argument. Now, here's some other kinds of abuses. Blackmail is an abuse of an appeal to fear. Kidnapping followed by ransom. You can read the others. Listener side abuses are often underrated. You know, if a listener hears it's an appeal to fear and therefore ignores the argument or therefore considers the argument invalid, that's an abuse by the listener. If the listener plays the victim and says, oh, you're using an appeal to fear, you're trying to scare me, therefore I'm going to ignore you, or therefore you're a bad person, and they kind of turn it around and make you the bad person, make an ad hominem attack. These are all abuses. Or they say, oh, you're appealing to my fear because you're also scared. But I'm not scared. You're the scared one. You're just a coward. You see? So they can also do an ad hominem attack of cowardice like that. And they'll say, you know, you're just Chicken Little. You just think the sky is falling, and you're just a crazy, and I'm not going to listen to you. But sometimes the sky really is falling. You know, people should have listened when people on the cutting edge predicted the Euro crisis. It was predicted. Dot-com boom was predicted. Great Depression was predicted. Great Recession was predicted. All this crap has been predicted, but people just ignored it because the people doing it, or the people predicting it, were just some Chicken Little skies falling crazies, right? Okay. So in conclusion, there's nothing inherently wrong with an appeal to fear. It's simply not a good form of logical argumentation. However, it is very useful and very good alongside a logical argument in order to make the argument more potent and effective at causing people to actually act. And there's nothing inherently wrong with using a appeal to fear. However, it doesn't actually prove anything, so it's not a good form of logical argumentation by itself. It's a supplement kind of thing. And I'm glad they're used. You know, I don't think they're unjustified. I'm glad my parents used appeals to fear on me when I was growing up. But people do need to stop abusing them. And it's the fact that the abuses of them are so many more times common than their proper uses. That is what results in the average Joe thinking that appeals to fear on the whole are just always bad, which is not true. Although they're often bad, they can be actually used very, very well. There's my works cited. Thanks for watching, y'all. I hope you learned something. And subscribe, like, comment, do whatever you want. I really hope that there's a lot of response to this as far as comments and even video replies. Love to hear what y'all think on that. Or you can message me, you know, whatever it is. Take care. Bye.